Are we ready?
To the season finale of Going Down with Ella Yurman. Who's gonna die? Who will end up with who? And where have I been the last few months? I'll never tell. A lot of news happened this month. Let's talk about it. The Democrats caved on protecting ACA subsidies to end the government shutdown, which means people will have to pay double for marketplace health insurance. Double the price. Sounds like it's time for a double Luigi. Mangione, here we go again. Mangione. The Supreme Court rejected a call to overturn its landmark decision that legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. No! Do it! Do it, please! I don't want to attend another gay wedding where the theme is Parisian afternoon. Why is the food just cigarettes? I'm hungry! Resident old bitch Nancy Pelosi announced recently that she will retire from Congress in 2027. To honor her, Democrats will be hanging her kente cloth from the rafters. The FDA is removing long-standing black box warnings from hormone therapy treatments for menopause. Oh, I see. You can get hormones if you're nearing the end of your life. Great news, transgenders! Kim Kardashian has failed the California bar exam. Meanwhile, Kim's stepmom, Caitlyn Jenner, failed a totally different bar exam, the one where you drive home from the bar without running over someone. This month, Eric Adams attended an AI conference in Israel. Bingo! I got evil bingo. I got it. I got evil bingo. The move has been interpreted by some as trolling Zohran Mamdani, and in a move interpreted by many as trolling Adams, on January 1st, Mamdani will be sworn in as mayor. The Washington Post reported that the Coast Guard will no longer classify the swastika or the noose as hate symbols, bringing up the age-old question, what exactly does the Coast Guard even do? And is all of this to appease the great whites? Less than a day later, the Coast Guard walked it back. Sailed it back? Floated it back? What does the Coast Guard do? And finally, I mean, you guys saw the Epstein emails. Like, what's gonna happen there? They cost economist Larry Summers his teaching position at Harvard and his seat on the board of OpenAI, which you know is freaking Trump out. He needs to keep his teaching position at Bitch University. And his seat on the board of Bitch University. I don't know. Like, what? I don't know. What is there to say? I am not in those emails. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to talk to a real-life journalist. Palehound is here. And then I am going to embrace my New York roots. But first, earlier this month, Starbucks apologized after its 20-ounce Barista cup sold out instantly, sending white people who yell at their parents into a nationwide frenzy. Here to talk about it is Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol.
Hello, Ella, and hello, me lovely caffeinistas. I see you. Look at you all jittering. It's a little sickening, honestly. I'm joking. Anyway, we are very sorry that our cup sold out, but I am positively thrilled to announce that we have just unveiled the brand new Foamy the Ice Moose mug.
Oh. Cool.
Yeah, it is cool, Ella. Cool like ice.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, Brian. I didn't really bring you on here to talk about the mugs. Unionized Starbucks employees under Starbucks Workers United are on strike in over 25 cities across 65 unionized stores. They're demanding stable hours, higher wages, and they're claiming that your company is in violation of over 700 unfair labor practice charges. What's your plan, Brian?
Thanks for bringing that up, Ella. It's honestly been really hard. I mean, I personally have only ever had great experiences at Starbucks, and my experience is the only one I'm able to relate to. It's times like these that I'm grateful for the little things, like holiday cheer, warm moments with loved ones, ChatGPT for helping me with thinking of those things I'm grateful for, and, you know, spinach feta wraps. But despite our employees', sorry to say, selfish behavior, Starbucks corporate prides ourselves on being the bigger person. Much bigger. So, I'm here to apologize to any and all workers who allegedly feel mistreated.
Wait, really?
By announcing our extra exclusive Peppermint Penguin Tumbler! Oh, I mean, isn't he so cute? That is the youthful glow of someone who would never dare to be in a Signal group chat with coworkers.
So you have nothing at all to say about the actual demands of the strike? The union's been in contract negotiations since 2021. Many of your workers are capped at 19 hours a week, so they can't get benefits and have to rely on SNAP.
Oh my God, okay, our workers are fine. They write cute little messages on the cups. Would a depressed person do that?
You allegedly closed 59 unionized stores last year in retaliation, and in 2023, you sued the union over a pro-Palestine statement posted on social media.
Ew, Ella, stop yelling at me.
I'm not yelling.
No, you're yelling, Mom, Ella's screaming at me. No, she's not one of my girls, but she does have barista eyes. I asked for no milk in my drink, and now I want extra milk. Yes, you can put extra milk in an Americano. All right, I'm feeling better. But I am about to get excited all over again once I tell you about our new Cheery Chai Cheetah Thermos! And don't be fooled by the name. You can use this thermos to drink lots of things, like soup or gruel or whatever poor people food you can buy with SNAP. Look, I don't know. I made $95 million last year.
Yeah, I know. 6,666 times the income of the average Starbucks barista. That doesn't bother you?
Cheery Chai Cheetah Thermos, Ella. I mean, how can anything be bad? We literally listen to Indian people about it being called chai and not chai tea, okay? Sorry, that's how I met her. We're being culturally sensitive, which means all of our problems are fixed. Cheery Chai Cheetah Thermos. Cheery Chai Cheetah!
No, you have problems. More than 45 national organizations representing over 85 million people, including Bernie Sanders, Zohran Mamdani. They want you to show up with a fair contract. Starbucks employees are planning on making this the longest strike in company history. I mean, if this snowballs any further, it could seriously hurt your holiday sales.
You're right. You're right. Things could snowball out of control and into the winter fun zone if enough people come and grab our Susie the Snow Woman slurp vessel! Slurp vessel! There's only so many ways you can say cup. And it's perfect for when you want to do this.
So then why are your shareholders urging you to resume contract negotiations? Are they worried about their stocks?
Ella, pay attention to what's important, okay? We just got news that... Ella, pay attention to what's important. We just got news that a frozen guy reading the... Right... Ella! Pay attention to what is important. We just got news that a frozen guy riding a coffee bean has hit the towers. I mean, shelves.
That is not real, Brian. You're making up cups.
Mistletoe, nail clipper, correct!
You're spiraling.
No, I'm not. I'm doing great. I mean, come on. I broke Starbucks Starbucks' 2-year streak of declining sales. Everything is holly jolly, and I'm not on the Epstein emails. He won't reply to me.
What about the union's demand?
Ella, please, okay? I have experience. I used to run Chipotle. You know Chipotle. Chipotle. Diarrhea might be from a listeria outbreak or just regular eating here. I know what I'm doing, okay? We don't need to increase wages or ratify a contract or whatever those blue hair killjoys want. We need to make sure that our stores are even cozier and sell more fun.
Do not say cups.
Bowls! Yeah, bowls in the shape of mules to honor our hardworking baristas who kick ass and keep their heads down this holiday season.
Ryan Nickel, everyone!
We'll put Christmas back on the cups if that'll shut you
Get
up.
out of my studio. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Our next guest is a journalist, union organizer, vice president of the NewsGuild of New York, and one of the 4 employees unjustly fired by Condé Nast earlier this month. Please welcome Alma Avalle.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Ella. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Alma. Nice to meet you. We've never met before.
Never once in my life have I met you.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
What's been going on with you lately?
Oh, you know.
But yeah, but pretend I don't.
Well, let's see. About 2 weeks ago, at time of filming, I was involved in a demonstration in the office after Condé Nast nearly shuttered Teen Vogue. They got rid of about 3/4 of the staff there, including most of the women of color who worked there and the only trans employee.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. So following that, our union, like many journalists do, we had a lot of questions. So we had a rally in our cafeteria where we gathered those questions together. We went down from the cafeteria to our executive floor, which is immediately below, and we found the head of HR, who is making a lot of these like hiring, firing, laying off decisions, and we tried to ask him those questions. Immediately after that, he refused to do so. Kind of walked around the executive floor a little bit, told us to follow him. We followed him. We kept asking him the questions, slammed the door in our face, and then we all went back to our jobs.
I'm sure you don't want to relive this. I do think we have a clip that I'm going to make them live the first time.
Oh, great.
If you could just go this way, you guys.
Will you come this way with us? No,
I'm in a meeting. I'm working.
Okay, well, we have some quick questions. If you answer them, we'd be happy to go back to our desks.
All right. Thank you.
For you?
Thank you.
You don't want to answer any questions?
I've directed you back to your workplace.
Is that a good answer, guys?
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
it's
Come
not-
on, Stan.
That's not a really good answer, Stan.
We're
Stan, these
concerned
are you.
about our colleagues.
Yeah.
We're
Stan,
concerned,
we're concerned about our company,
our
and
job.
you're disengaging with the employees who work here. Did you let go of Teen Vogue for political reasons? What are you going to do to stand up to the Trump administration?
Awesome.
Thank you.
I loved... Well, keep going. Tell me what happened after that clip.
So after that clip, I went back down to my desk. I finished up my workday. I honestly had a very boring afternoon. I went out with some friends to happy hour after work, got home around 7, got a text from a member of the NewsGuild telling me that the company was trying to fire me, and then 3 hours later got an email from the company saying that I had in fact been terminated. So for the past 2 weeks and change, I have not worked at Condé Nast anymore.
Is it legal to do that?
So all workers have rights under the National Labor Relations Act, which was passed in 1935. Trivia.
Wow.
And under Section 7 of that act, you have rights to engage in what are called protected concerted activities. Those are demonstrations in the workplace, organizing in the workplace, basically like anything towards or around building a union. People have a right to do as long as they are doing it in groups. As you saw in the video, I was there with a lot of coworkers. So no, it is in fact illegal to fire somebody in retaliation for protected concerted activity.
And yet they've done it.
Yeah, sometimes companies break the law. It actually happens pretty regularly.
I don't think that's true. I feel like every employer I've ever had has been nice and good. So, NewsGuild President Susan Carava,
DeCarava, yes.
Carava, I was right the first time. Awesome. Called the firings one of the most extreme attempts at union busting the NewsGuild has seen. When the thing it's responding to, as we just saw, was tame, I would say. Why are bosses feeling so emboldened to break the law right now?
Yeah, so we have a lot of demonstrations. We organize these, we call them marches on the boss fairly regularly. It is a time where a group of coworkers gets questions together, questions that perhaps management wouldn't want to answer in other forums. In fact, with Stan this year, we tried to get him into meetings. We'd sent him questions via email. We submitted a bunch of questions ahead of an all-company meeting. They never answered any of them. And so we will often have these groups of people go down, speak to a manager who's making these sorts of decisions. We've done this so many times. Like, the way that this is just a regular part of my day-to-day at my job. It's hard to say why they might be escalating now, but under the Trump administration, we've had a lame duck National Labor Relations Board. Basically, that means they don't have enough staff in order to hear all of the cases that are being pushed through. It is also just generally gutted enforcement of labor law across the board. So a lot of companies, which might have been a little more beholden to the law before, seem to be testing things that they can get away with, whether that's ignoring their union contracts or whether that's just blatantly breaking the Labor Relations Act in the first place. So we've been seeing these kinds of things across the Guild. However, this is one of, like Susan said, the more egregious versions of retaliation or expressions of retaliation that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the gutted NLRB, at a rally of last week, New York Attorney General Letitia James said that she'd see Condé Nast in court. But Condé has filed its own complaint with the NLRB against the union, and they're gutted, and the board is gutted and doesn't have the capacity to do any of these things. How does having this hostile administration factor into your path forward and also for workers in general?
Yeah, there are a few routes to fixing things like this. Obviously, like we mentioned, this is almost certainly illegal, and like under the language of the law and also the language in our union's contract, the company has no right to do this. If they want to fire somebody, if they commit what the company calls gross misconduct, which is what they accused me of, they have to be able to explain what that conduct is under a clause of the contract called just cause, which means compared to an at-will employee who can be fired for any reason or no reason, a just cause employee can only be fired if the company has just cause. They have to be able to put together, say, a track record of poor performance or misbehavior. They have to have an actual case for why that person is being fired. In our case, we were fired the day of, before an investigation could be handled. We were not given a chance to explain our side of the story at all until about 9 days later when we had our first grievance hearing, which we pointed out in the meeting is the exact opposite direction it's supposed to work. What was the original question?
What's the path forward for you?
Sure.
What legal recourse do you have? And then what does like this labor environment mean for like unionized workers or workers in general?
Right. So there are a few paths towards correcting something like this. There is the legal pathway, which means either going through arbitration or going through the labor board. That's obviously less of an option right now, particularly the labor board side of things. But the other option is the organizing side of things. So that means people continuing to show up to union events. That means having rallies like the one that we had outside of the World Trade Center last week. And it means people just continuing to show up and push the company and ask for like a justified reason for why we've been like kicked out of the company. And then also just continuing to push for our reinstatement inside of the building and then on the outside as well. So we have public petitions where people can sign up and show their support for the 4 of us who were fired. We'll have other calls to action for people on the outside looking in who want to help reinstate the fired 4.
And we'll link to those calls to action in the description of this video. But along with being recently fired and the vice president of the NewsGuild and my beautiful friend, you also were one of the lead organizers for the Condé Nast union. Do you have advice for workers who are currently trying to like unionize, form unions in this current political landscape?
Totally. The best organizing advice I've ever received is just be a person. One of the things that a company will do to you, right, is they will create policies that make it harder for you to talk to your coworkers. They'll make it harder for you to like connect with people on an individual level. That's like what job titles do. That's what like most of the policies that they'll like put through in a company are meant to do. Most of union organizing is just gossiping, honestly. Like it's calling your coworkers and asking like,
that's why transgender women are so good at it.
That's the reason. It's not like we need it more than other people or anything.
No, we have great legal protections.
But seriously, like most of what organizing is, it's calling people, it's talking to people and asking them like, what's up with your day-to-day job? Like, what are the problems you're dealing with? Do you and your boss get along? It's hearing about like what their working conditions actually look like, and then it's thinking about, okay, how can we as workers get together and solve those problems as a group? So it's really easy to fall into like all of these tricks, and there's all of these like books about organizing unions. But frankly, like the number one thing, in the same way that it's really important in times like this to like know your neighbors, know the people in your neighborhood, know the people that you live around, just talk to your coworkers. Because the moment you start talking to each other, like one, that's when that protected concerted activity thing kicks in, because you're acting together. You are like working as a group as opposed to working individually, where it's much easier to single people out. But also you are building the foundations that like whether you're dealing with a single issue in like an acute sense, like whatever, one person gets fired and you're all like riled up about that, or you're doing something that's built into like a larger union campaign, escalating all the way to like an election and then a contract fight. It all just starts with conversation. It all starts with being friends with the people that are around you and like understanding the things that they're struggling with.
That's very poignant, thank you. That's about all the time we have right now. You can see more of Alma after the break on patreon.com/goingdownshow. We'll be right back. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Your mother wanted to name you Aaron, but her body built you as a different man. And my friend, if you want me to, I'll call you Aaron. I can, Aaron, I can. You sing your song with your back turned to me, your body shaking, voice sturdy and still. And if closing my eyes will help you turn around, Aaron, I will. Your father wanted to take you shopping for something to wear on his wedding day. And when I saw you standing there with your shirt tucked in, well, I caved. I caved. I caved her and I caved. And the water's warm, but it still stings your shins when you are wading in. And it's worth the swim. I feel so weightless, rid of our bodies. Can you flow with me around? You live your life with your back turned to me, your body's swaying, voice steady in stance. And if shutting my mouth will help you turn around, Aaron, I can. Thank you, guys.
Welcome back. For our main story tonight, I want to talk about nonprofits, specifically housing nonprofits. The housing crisis affects over 150,000 people in New York State alone. The easiest way to fix that issue is giving them a house. But here in New York, we don't do easy. We're New York tough, capiche? In total, New York City has over 40,000 supportive housing units, which are affordable, permanent rentals and include on-site supportive services. And roughly 5,000 of them currently sit empty. Could you imagine if we got 5,000 New Yorkers off the city streets and into those units? We'd have so much more room to be walking here. But unfortunately, the system we got approved to live in one of those units ain't easy. It's tough. New York tough. First, you have to get a caseworker who's usually overworked and overloaded to the point of exhaustion, like the L train on a Saturday night. That caseworker then has to fill out a housing application, which includes getting you a psychiatric evaluation and a psychosocial report. Psychosocial? Back in the day, that's what we called West Egg parties. There was this cat named Gatsby who was off the deep end. After the application is completed, it has to get approved by the city, which can take multiple months, during which your material conditions are getting worse by the day. And you may no longer want to be a part of it, New York, New York, if you know what I mean. It's a euphemism for wanting to kill yourself. And that's just for your application to be approved by the city government. From there, the city adds your housing application to the CAPS database, where it will be placed with thousands of other applications. That's the Coordinated Assessment and Placement System, by the way, not what people from Boston call the police. CAPS. Those New Englanders, they got such crazy accents. Also, fuck the Sox. If your application survives the CAPS, then and only then will it be screened by one of the many housing nonprofits in the city, who will interview often multiple times to determine if they have an apartment that you qualify for. Multiple times! Who are you, me seeing the Lion King? Come on! Just give them the apartment. The criteria nonprofits use to deny services are like bagel prices above 34th Street. Unreasonable and absurd. You might be told you're not a good fit for a vacancy if you have a history of substance abuse, relapse, or if you recently tried to stop spreading the news, if you know what I mean. It's a euphemism for killing yourself. Recently, by the way, means within the last 5 years. Are you fucking kidding me? This is New York, baby! Everyone's tried to kill themselves sometime in the last 5 years. You ever been to Midtown during SantaCon? I mean, my God. Besides, I'd like to see you be unhoused for half a decade without doing drugs or trying to kill yourself. Half of our audience can't even sit through a 30-minute episode without lighting up or attempting. So why do nonprofits deny people with histories of substance abuse or suicidal ideation? It's because they're afraid they'll do it again in one of their residences, and then they'll be held liable. Liable? It's New York, baby! There's 2 guys standing back to back on billboards across town saying they can help you with liable. Pick up the phone and call Celino and Bonds like an adult. In some cases, clients can even be denied housing if they haven't been homeless for a continual 365 days. Yeah, denied housing because you aren't unhoused enough. That's like interviewing for a job and being asked why there's no gap on your resume. If you're physically disabled, one of the populations facing the highest rates of housing insecurity, you'll likely have an even harder time, as many units are located on the upper floors of buildings that aren't wheelchair accessible. Although, if we've learned anything from LinkedIn, entry level can mean anything. Even if you aren't a wheelchair user, you could still be denied if you use a cane or a walker, or even just have a limp or fall down a lot, because that means you might get more disabled over time while living in that second floor apartment, as opposed to living on the streets, which is famously great for your joints. Although I will say, in New York, with the rats, our city streets are squishier than average. Look, so many of my friends wouldn't qualify for housing under these conditions. I wouldn't even qualify. If you keyword search "kill myself" on my Twitter, your phone explodes. Look, I'm sorry. Those were the times I was feeling New York weak. Of the over 10,000 people approved by the government for supportive housing in 2025, only 30% actually received housing through a nonprofit. That's 7,000 people who thought they were going to have a roof over their head and then were rejected. 7,000! That's 2 Little Italys. It's 500 dime squareses. And this isn't a money problem. It costs $1,185 per day to house someone in a medical hospital, $467 a day in a psychiatric hospital, and $54 a day in a shelter. But it only costs $42 per day in supportive housing. That's right, it's significantly cheaper to give people supportive housing. So why aren't we doing it? Well, for one, in New York, the government consistently fails to provide organizations the money they're owed. A report from April shows that roughly $800 million worth of nonprofit invoices have gone unpaid by the city. But it's actually supposed to work like that, because New York wants you to partake in one of our city's most hallowed traditions, borrowing money you don't have from predatory private lenders, which is what these nonprofits end up doing. And those loans accrue interest that the nonprofits then have to pay off. In fact, some organizations pay as much as $1 million every year in interest instead of using that money to put a roof over people's heads. Only in the Big Apple. But, you know, not really only in the Big Apple. This is a national issue. It's important to recognize that while nonprofits are frequently and oftentimes frustratingly ineffectual, the actual employees that are denying people housing because no femmes, no fats, no people who tried to kill themselves. They didn't choose their career because they love making people suffer. They wanted to help people, but wound up spending their 9 to 5 condemning a fat femme family of 4 to the street. Shout out to our writer Sunny, pictured here doing exactly that. She wanted to help people after a years-long career of, and this is absolutely true, buying fight videos from local police departments to put on A&E. And instead, she now has her name on hundreds of documents that basically say, sorry, you can't have a house because you are too sad. Try again in 5 years if you're still alive. But just because the nonprofit system is woefully underfunded, overgrown with bureaucratic red tape, and staffed with well-meaning 25-year-old transgender comedians does not mean that we can just throw our hands up in the air and say, well, everybody's trying their best. It's not anyone's fault. This is New York, baby. It's always someone's fault. Because the system is designed to work this way. The city outsources the housing problem to nonprofits, but doesn't provide the funding necessary for the nonprofits to operate, forcing them to be reliant on grants and private lenders, and shifting their focus away from the actual work and toward bringing in revenue. Introducing a profit motive leaves the door open for corruption and mismanagement, of which there is plenty, but it also inherently creates a power differential as these orgs become beholden to whims of the state, or worse, corporations, in order to get the funding they need. And all of this is obfuscated by yet another impenetrable layer of red tape. Do you guys know what a CFDI is? No, I didn't either, but now I know it stands for a Community Development Financial Institution Fund, and that they partner with private sector capital to provide a market-based approach to financially vulnerable communities. Just give people a house! We live in the greatest city, in the richest country, in the world. And we could easily put more of our money toward addressing homelessness, but we don't do it because at the end of the day, even when you dig down past all that bloat and bureaucracy, we still have a basic economic system that treats housing as a commodity, like a New York hot dog, and not a basic need, like running water, or a New York hot dog. But decommodification is a big, scary word that gets you labeled a commie and disappeared. So if we can't do that, it's at the very least worth looking into how these systems we do have work and trying to understand why they don't do what they say they're supposed to do, even if you know that they're actually not supposed to do the things that they say they're supposed to do. And if that didn't make any sense, good. This is New York, baby. It's not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to make you tough. Fuck the socks. Never forget. We'll be right back. That's our show! Thank you to Parikh, Camden, Alma, Palehound, Reid, Skylar, our writers, our patrons, our incredible crew, and of course, To you, our live studio audience, give it up for yourselves. Good night.
You and your apolitical friends think it's the end. We're all kidding ourselves. You're cynical and always right. I put up a fight. You've got the world on your shelf. Can you live with yourself? No, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it. Can you live with yourself? I heard you studied philosophy at an Ivy League, and you did it just for fun. No need to fight for change. Just cast off blame. Look in the mirror, swallow your shame.
School you're reading Sartre and Proust. Why not put them to use? Choose the world that you're in, and if you're hearing the song and you're singing along, then it's not too late to begin. And if not, well,
Can you live with yourself? I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it. Can you live with yourself? You know what they say. First they came for all the people I don't care about. Though I'm sure after this war we'll all know peace and no one will comfort me. 'Cause history never repeats. I bet you wonder how I fucking sleep.
Hi, I'm Ella Yurman, host of Going Down with Ella Yurman. Does our title make you think of a sinking ship or oral sex? If you said ship, you crave stability. If you said oral, you crave validation. Either way, like, subscribe, go down below and leave a comment. And then go over to our Patreon at patreon.com/goingdownshow for exclusive content and hot takes that I legally can't post on Maine. That's patreon.com/goingdownshow. Bye! Mwah.